So, hello.
Hello.
Welcome
Evening.
back.
Thank you.
Thank you. You were here many years ago?
Yeah, when I was young, a long time ago.
Yeah? Okay. I probably was young too then.
Just, yeah.
And when you were here, you looked at the instruments, maybe tried a couple? And then your brother was here in 2010 and played. So, thank you for coming back.
Pleasure.
To play now. Before we get talking about what you're going to do tonight in your program, I really want to hear about all the amazing things that you do. You balance solo recitals, chamber music, festivals, teaching, and where does that? Tell me about last summer. You did a mini summer residency at Versailles. I want to apply for that. I want to do this. Where you had, the violins, the 24 violins in the different rooms. Can you tell us a little bit about that project?
Well, first of all, thank you for being here. As you can hear, I'm French. Nobody's perfect. And I'm very happy to be here. Well, you described like a musician life. I teach, I play concertos, I play recitals, I play chamber music. Basically, I'm a musician. So I'm so much in love with music since I'm 4 that it takes my life somehow. Of course, I have my family, my wife and my son, but music was always kind of the center. And so I very naturally compose my life with different things. It feeds me. I'm next week, for example. Tomorrow I go to New York Philharmonic to play a Pincher piece, which is a wonderful German composer who wrote this piece, and we play together with the New York Philharmonic. And the next week I play in Lyon with Orchestre National in France, a program where I play Bach concertos and I conduct, and then I play with them Strauss Metamorphosen. And tonight I play a French recital. Well, for me it's just music. And so it might sound a bit like doing so many things, but at the end, for me, it's doing the same thing. It's just sharing music with people I don't know, but then I know you. And this Versailles project, yeah, it sounds very, Versailles, France, whatever. It's just because the president of the Versailles castle, who is a very good friend since a long time, told me, you have to come and do something. And I said, yeah, okay, but you don't just do a recital in Versailles. Okay, it's nice, but we have to think about something. So as they do a lot of modern arts exhibitions in Versailles, they do Baroque music a lot, and they do some, Jeff Koons and all these people exposing. But they never did, since Lully, they never had any premiere of modern music, so a premiere of a piece. And I thought, let's do exactly the opposite. Instead of having Jeff Koons, let's have a world premiere of a piece. So we had this recital, actually, Debussy, Franck, and Ravel, plus a Du Sapin piece, world premiere in Versailles. So when I call Pascal Du Sapin, who is almost 60 years old, he's our major French composer after Dutilleux. And I said, would you like to be premiered in Versailles? He had this kind of, why not? Anyway, so then from this, I thought it was nice to have this recital and also to play in different places. So then I did some, we asked the public to come for 3 little concerts of 40 minutes, and they would stay up, and because we didn't have time to put the chairs, so I played one recital with a harpsichord in the Chapelle Royale, which was wonderful. Then I played a duo concert in the Salon d'Hercule, which is also amazing, and we finished in the Galerie des Glaces, playing with the harpsichord some Bach, and it was just a treat for me. It was, and it was just magical. And it was one day. Okay, it was one day in Versailles, but I got a lot of inspiration. And today, when I just arrived here and I tried these amazing instruments which are here, and the one I'm going to play tonight, I called my wife and I said, well, this is one of the most inspiring day ever, because I get to play this incredible Kreisler instrument. And she said something to me very, very true. She said, well, I feel that you are like if you would cheat on your violin. It's very strange. Yeah, because since 2 days, I'm completely excited. Because I know this fiddle is perhaps one of the only one which would make me think about perhaps giving my mine away. I play a wonderful Del Gesù of 1737, which was owned by Kazakhstan for 50 years. It's called Le Vicomte de Panette, and it's a violin of my life, clearly. I say it again now here, because I also played the other one, which could be the other violin of my life, but it's not. So I already asked if it's possible to buy it, everything. It's not possible, so it's just...
He did ask that. I'm curious though, back at Versailles, did the surroundings inspire you? I mean, we go over there and we look at this beautiful hall and imagine what the concerts were like in there. Did that affect you at all?
Of course, but every place is inspiring. That's why here I get inspired, because I also cherish all the recordings with Adolf Busch and Willow Sekin and Arau, and I mean, I'm somebody who really is very sensible to what happened in which place. Also, I'm more and more, more older I get, I'm influenced by what this political situation, the economic situation in the country is, the demographic one, the geographic one. I mean, you can't just arrive in a place and think, okay, I play in Bombay tonight, and then I play in Aspen, and then I play in wherever, like Tokyo, Versailles. I mean, it's you have to go there. I think.
I know that.
If you want, we can organize something. But all this to say that I'm not a composer. I'm just I'm serving Brahms, Beethoven, Schubert, Franck, Debussy, trying to give the best of what I can do. And but I need to be connected to what happens in my country, in the country I visit. For example, today in France, just a couple of hours ago, there was a big walk against anti-Semitism, because it's quite terrible in France what's happening now. And of course, I'm going to play tonight thinking about this, not thinking a lot, but just I know it happened today. I had a lot of friends who were there. And so it's important for me to be part of all this community life in my country and in the world. And somehow the violin also is a way to bring not only music and fun and beauty and emotions, but it's I feel like a messenger.
Messenger.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, so then the Easter Festival and the 25 concerts there that you've programmed. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, so I program since I'm 15 years old. I love to program, not computer program, just chamber music and orchestras and things, programs and musical programs. I created my own festival when I was 18 in my hometown for 15 years. And then I stopped, and I thought, because my son was just born, and I thought, now it's enough. And but after 1 year, I missed it so much. So I thought I would create a festival in Aix-en-Provence, which is a beautiful place in France.
Okay, so he goes from Versailles to Provence, okay.
And so I created a festival there, which is now 7 years. It began in 2013. And we program there, 25, 26 concerts a year. And I can welcome all my violinist friends. Anne-Sophie Mutter came, and James Ennis, and a lot of people, Christian Tetzlaff, all the best violinists came, a lot of conductors, orchestras, Vienna Philharmonic, London Symphony, and singers, and it's wonderful because for 2 weeks, I just stay in Aix-en-Provence, and I have the feeling to be a concierge de luxe. I welcome my friends. It's amazing. So we plan things in advance, of course. I play with them sometime, and it's again the same joy of sharing music that I love with public.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great. So you have a musical family. Your brother has played here in 2010, the cello. Did you grow up playing music a lot? How young were you when you first started playing?
Well, I began at 4. My parents are not at all musicians, which is very nice because there is pressure enough when you are a kid playing the violin. They discovered music in a very natural way in a festival next to their place, and I began the violin. My sister she's 5 years older, and she began the piano before, then she stopped, and my younger brother, who is 5 years younger than me, began the cello 5 years later. And so now we are 2 professional musicians in the family, and the children of my sister are also playing cello and dance. And so now we kind of have a very musical family, but which comes somehow from nowhere, because we are coming from the mountains. I mean, we are from the Alps, Chambéry, small town near Lyon and Geneva, and I don't know if you know France, very small country, but very nice. and that's all.
How did you pick the violin, or did your parents?
Oh, it's a very common story. I was 3.5, and I was just singing in a kind of course with a woman playing piano, and it was a kind of education to hear. And my mother asked her, we'd like to make him begin an instrument. What do you think we should do? Mm-hmm. And she said, this little boy, he has a very good ear. You should try the violin. So thanks to her, I'm a violinist. That's.
And you kept up with it, and you.
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, the funny thing is, then, a lot of journalists ask you sometimes, well, you are a prodigy, you are a genius, whatever. So I always say, no, Einstein and Menuhin are geniuses. We are all trying, our best. And of course, I had a kind of a gift, but then I think everybody has a gift somehow. So the difference is which luck you have to make it grow, and how you develop this talent, and how you have this love for it. And my parents were clever enough to not to know anything about music and not to push, but just to let me do what I wanted to do. And I wanted to be a violinist. I didn't know why, but I wanted to be a violinist. So
you studied with Isaac Stern a little, or how did you?
Well, I met him when I was 19 in Verbier Festival. But before, I had a teacher who was a lot in America. My main teacher, Vida Reynolds, she was a wonderful violinist playing in the Philadelphia Orchestra, teaching in Curtis for 20 years. She took the class of cymbalist, and so she was my teacher, because then she came to France. So I studied with her between 8 years old until 20. In the meanwhile, I did Conservatoire of Paris, and when I finished all this, then Berlin, and then I went to study for one summer with Isaac Stern in Switzerland. And this was really a meeting. He was very impressive. We were all completely terrified by him. Not because he was not nice, he was very nice, but we were just, he had his power and his way of being in a very nice way, but we were completely, first when we all met him, we were like sweating crazy, I remember. And then he was amazing. He was, picking us and saying everything which was so true to each of us. He was pointing the things. The funny story is, at this time I had a very modest violin, and I needed to find another one. So I asked him to write me a letter to help me to find a sponsorship. So he did, and he wrote a letter which I never used, because then life happened differently. But I still have his letter where he says anybody should help me to find a violin. And exactly 10 years later, it happens that a bank bought this violin for me, which is his violin. And I think life sometimes is strange, because he wrote me a letter, I never used it, but then I played his violin. And he passed away before, so I didn't have the chance to speak about it to him.
We got his papers, and you got his violin, and here you are. It's a wonderful connection. And I guess what I want to talk about a little bit is your violin. It's 1737, Guarneri. Tell us a little bit about playing on that now, since 2005?
2005. Yeah, in 2005, a Swiss bank bought it for me, so it was their property. And so I could choose a violin, which was a treat, and I chose this one. I knew straight away.
You mean you had a choice of?
I could choose the one I wanted. They wanted to buy me a Del Gesù. I had a Strat before, which was on loan, also from a foundation. And I tried a couple of ones, and the Menuhin one, Decville, which was wonderful, but it didn't really, playing a violin, it's like meeting somebody. You can meet fantastic people, you meet 100 people, and then one you want to speak until 3 o'clock in the morning. You have no idea why, but it fits. Same with a violin. And plus love, Yeah. So I wouldn't express this, everybody knows. But then I thought it was really my voice. And the bank bought it for me, so it was in 2005. Well, what I felt was like I knew that straight away that this instrument would be my voice, my partner, my way of communicate, and we are just making one. And I'm the owner since 1 year and a half. It doesn't mean I finished paying, but it means it's mine. And it's one of the most. it was one of the most difficult decisions in my life, you know.
To buy.
Yeah, to buy, because you don't just say, okay, I will buy a Del Gesù. You think a lot before going to this direction. And I have to say my wife was wonderful, because she really, if she would have 1% doubt, I would have never done it. And she really supported me for this. And since it's mine, it's another step, because I have the feeling, since it's mine, it sounds better. Of course, it doesn't sound better, just it's here. But it shows that the fact that there is this trust and this, it makes you doing a step further. And that's also why I feel so strange to love the Kreisler today. It's a very strange feeling.
What is the sound that you love so much in your violin?
Well, this violin has a lot of Del Gesù, but particularly this one and the Kreisler. They are very warm and very sounding like violas. They're not at all sounding aggressive or very powerful on the E string, which they are anyway. But everything is round and everything is like a mix of cashmere silk and everything soft, which you can imagine. And I said to you before, when I played a few notes of the Kreisler, which is the same feeling when I play mine, I had the feeling to go in a bath of essential oils, you know, where it feeds you, it's warm, it's comfortable, it's amazing. And so I felt this with my Vicomte de Panette. The story of this instrument is very interesting. It was owned by Guillaume. It was owned by a French comte called Vicomte de Panette in Bourges in France. And then by his daughter, la Comtesse de Balabre. And just to give you an example, this summer I received a letter from the mayor of Balabre, which is a very, very tiny village in France, which I've never heard about of this Comtesse de Balabre. And the mayor wrote me like, we have done some research and we know that you play the violin, which was owned by la Comtesse de Balabre, who was living in our village, and we would love you to play recitals there. And I think it's so nice, because this violin has a story everywhere I go. And then Isaac Stan bought it in 47. Then it was in America between 47 and 94. Then he sold it to Mr. Fulton in Seattle. So it was in America again. And it came back to Europe with me.
Great. So you've kindly agreed to play our Kreisler Guarneri as well.
Well, you kindly agree. Make me. Well, you know, it's a very nice agreement from both sides.
So actually, the audience is in for a treat tonight, because you'll share the program with both instruments. You'll play the first half on your instrument, if you choose, 1737, and then...
I was hesitating. I thought, as I love this Kreisler so much, I should play everything. And then I thought, first of all, it wouldn't be fair for my violin. No, and to be honest, I think it's very interesting for you to listen to these two amazing. I think it's one of the 5 most amazing Del Gesù in the world. So I think we are all very lucky tonight to be able to listen to them. Because I always say, you know, even if it's mine now, this Del Gesù, it's owned by you, because I'm playing it, but you are listening to it. So these violins are owned by the people who are listening to them. It's like a very nice. If you see a house from outside, it's owned by the people who look at it. And so I will play the first half with my violin 1737, and then second half, which is Franck Sonata, with the Kreisler, which is 1730.
The Kreisler is about 1730. And what sounds are you hearing from the Kreisler? Did you hear today? And I must say, I found it fascinating when you first picked up the Kreisler today and you played a note or two and you're like, oh, I remember. I mean, just barely any sound, and it came back to you.
I remember because I tried it 15 years ago, and I remembered that this violin was the most amazing sound I ever heard. And in between, I got my violin, and I kind of wanted to forget that I tried this one. And now it came out. Well, it's a sound. You know, sound is very. You can't describe a sound. That's why I always give to my students also examples of images or feelings or sensations. A sonority for a string instrument is like sharing your DNA, because if any of my colleagues would be now playing my violin or the Kreisler one, they would sound completely different. And then would express with their words what this sound is. But this sound would be described by the fact they play it. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
this Kreisler violin will sound today this sound because I play it like I play. And if Josh Bell will play tomorrow, it will sound his way, and a completely different way. So I speak about Josh because he's a friend and we mentioned him before. But so in a way, of course, it has particularities. The wood is very, how can I say, you have the feeling the wood is speaking. I tried also some Strads which are here, which are incredible. But I'm more a Del Gesù guy. It's like, no, I won't do a comparison with anything because I'm always wrong. But I always mention this red wine thing. If you speak about French red wines, you have Bordeaux and Bourgogne. And for my taste, Del Gesù would be more Bordeaux and Strad would be more Bourgogne. And but as soon as I begin this, then people say, no, it's not true because Bourgogne is like okay. So. But again, I think you have your own way of perceiving it, and at the end, it's which love you put inside in it. And
I appreciate that because the violin's been here since he donated it in 1952. He had it since 1926, and he had other fine violins. But a lot of times people come here and they know many violinists, great violinists have played it, but a lot of them play it like Kreisler, or like what they heard Kreisler playing. And I like that you're coming to it with, your own DNA, maybe, your own...
Yeah, I think it's like a singer. My voice is what I am. And the violin, whichever violin it is, if I try now for you the 6 violins which are here, or 5 violins, it will all sound different, but it will always be me somehow, which is logical. And even if I play a modern instrument, it will still sound like me. So, of course, when I play this Kreisler, it sounds like different.
I found a lot of connections between you and the library. Oh. And, well, the Kreisler, the Brahms concerto, and the Kreisler cadenza. Also, did you know that Kreisler wrote film music in 1936?
No, yes, I didn't know.
He did. He wrote the violin part for a film. And you have now won an award for an album that just came out, Cinema, which is on film music. And on that, you have a piece by Korngold. We have the Korngold collection here.
I know. So
I'd like you to tell the audience about this, aspect of your violin playing. And
well, I discovered the Korngold concerto when I was 20, and I fell in love with it straight away. It was through the recording of Heifetz and Gil Shaham. Then when I like a composer, I love to play, of course, a few pieces. But then for Korngold, I played this concerto and I played all the chamber music. I like to hear everything around. It's like if you begin to read, if you like Proust, and then you want to read everything. If you like, Gide or whatever. Then from this, I discovered his film music, which is incredible. And somehow it's very interesting to see that Korngold was an amazing composer in Vienna who wrote Die Tote Stadt, this amazing opera, the violin concerto later, but he wrote a violin sonata for Flesch and Schnabel when he was 18 or something. He wrote amazing pieces. Then he had to leave because of this anti-Semitism and because of the war. He went to Los Angeles. Then in Los Angeles, what happened? He was Korngold. He was a star in Europe. And then he began to write some film music. So Korngold wrote his own music, adapted to film music. So it's wrong to say that Korngold is a film music composer. He's an amazing composer who wrote also film music. And all this to say that when I came to my this idea of doing a cinema recording based on my huge admiration for the 2 ones that Isaac Palman did 20 years ago for Sony Classical, he recorded 2 sets of film music, which I think I should tell him that I think I must be the one who heard this CD the most in the world. And I always thought I would do something like this one day. And so since 10 years, I'm thinking, let's do it. But it's never the right timing. Then again, my wife was kind of pushing me and telling me, when are you doing it? And 2 years ago, I woke up in the morning and I said, now I'm doing it. Don't ask me why now, it was now. And of course, there are some pieces of Korngold. There is some Nino Rota, some Morricone with John Williams, and it was such a joy to do this movie recording. And now we got this award, the Disque d'Or in France, because it sold a lot, and it's nice because it brings to classical music another public, which is. There are still a lot of people who are scared of classical music, at least in France, and who think that film music is more for them than classical music because they don't deserve somehow classical music. It's too difficult for them. And I thought it was a very nice pedagogic way to tell them, look, if you like this, it is classical music. Film music is classical music. And most of the composers which are in this CD did also, like Rota, Morricone, Williams, Korngold, so many of them wrote concertos, pieces for orchestra. So it's a nice, very nice adventure, and I will certainly do a volume 2 soon.
Oh, good. We'll look forward to that. So back to connections. Kreisler and you both were awarded the Commander of Legion of Honor in France.
Oh.
I'm on this theme here.
I didn't know.
What is that about? How does that...
Oh, it's the president in France who decides to give you this red thing here, which I'm not wearing.
You don't have to wear it every
But no, you don't wear it. I don't wear it for the concert now. Yeah. But it's an honor. It's Légion d'honneur. It's a recognition, and I was very honored.
That's good. Congratulations. I thought you and Fritz Kreisler were in the same league. And to that end, more on these connections with you and Kreisler. You have children. You mentioned a son.
Yep.
And his name is?
Elliot.
My daughter is Elliot.
Oh.
We are connected now. Does he play
anything? He began the violin because my wife wanted him to. I didn't think about it. And okay, so he tried for 1.5 years. And then one day, recently, he called me and he said, Daddy, I want to stop the violin for 3 reasons. And so, okay. First reason, it's very hard. I said, yes, I know. Second reason, the teacher is not. I said, okay, you're right. And then with a very cute little voice, he said, and I think, Daddy, I don't like the violin. What can you say? I mean, I said, fine. It's very nice because somehow I'm sure he's kind of. It's difficult for him to play the instruments that brings me away all the time. I'm sure this is a reason. We'll speak about later, perhaps. But I didn't want to create any, frustration or obliging him. Of course not. So we'll see. Perhaps he will play again one day. And I'm not a person who wants my son to do what I do. I want him to be happy. I think my parents did the same with us. They really wanted us to be happy in what we would love to do. And my mission is to do the same with my son. So if he wants to be, right now, at this age, you change every month. So he had the fireman time, all this. Now he's in the director of school for this month. We'll see next month.
How old is he?
He's 8.
Oh, this is perfect. Okay. So Kreisler also learned the violin when he was young. He was called a prodigy also and started at about 4 years old. And I have a little surprise for you. Where is it? When he was 7 or 8, this was his violin, and we just had it restored.
From Kreisler?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's going to make its debut tonight. I would like you to see it. And if you want, maybe just play a little bit on it. Okay.
Amazing. This is a real surprise. I mean, it's not organized before, that's what I mean.
Let's see if that stays there.
Thank you.
So it is very small. This violin was given in 1952, along with the Guarneri that you'll hear tonight, that we call the Kreisler Guarneri. Kreisler, I found from his biography, seemed to be about 7 or 8 years old. The bow is in there too that he used.
It's very cute. It's at my size.
Yeah. But your son would be about ready to be playing this. So Kreisler played this for about 2 years, and then he was, given, and he grew up and he got a bigger violin. By the time he was 12, he won an award in Paris, and then he came over to Carnegie and did his debut here. But
very moving.
it's kind of curious where his sound came from.
is this small violin sound, you know.
And he has to be light with his touch on this, like a young child would be.
Oh, okay. That's it. It was not played since a long time.
Probably since Kreisler was a child, because when it came here,
How did it come back?
it just came back a couple weeks ago
From
being restored. No, he gave it in 1952, and it's been here pretty much probably how he left it as a child. And we finally got it restored
Amazing.
the past year. And you don't have to play it in. It just,
It's a very warm sound for this side violin. Very good bow too.
So it's what Kreisler heard when he was a young child.
It's a great present for my son. Thank you very much.
Well, you get the bigger violin and he gets the smaller one.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for doing that, for debuting that, and come back with your son, and maybe we can convince him to restudy the violin. Now, would you be interested in playing any excerpts from your film music?
Oh, now?
Yeah? On your own instrument, or am I putting you on the spot? Or do we have to go?
I think no. The thing is, I would love to, but it would be nicer with orchestra. If I play alone this year, we'll miss some things. I think the best thing is if we spend a couple of minutes speaking a little bit. Then I will play really on stage.
Okay.
But no, this movie music, it's beautiful also because there is the orchestra behind, and it brings you to, you just then you really see the pictures. And if I would play it now, I don't know. I can if you.
No, we'll wait for an encore maybe or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, I can. I will do something for you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. That was really touching. Thank you for doing that. Thank you.
It is better with orchestra.
I don't know. He played that earlier today, and we asked him to play it again. It was so beautiful. Thank you. Now, the third time. I guess, is it time for questions? Does anyone have a question? Yes. Thank you.
I'm here.
The wonderful stories of the violins makes me wonder about the selection of the bows and how you go about choosing the bows to play, like for both your instrument and the instrument from the library's collection. Whether are you using your bow with the library's violin? Did you switch?
Yeah.
Are you switching bows?
Good question. As you could see, I have a few bows. The problem with bows is, so I have a few P4 bows, and I played now with a tourte, which is amazing. And problem is, this tourte is so amazing that at the end I play only this tourte because even if I have some amazing other bows, it makes a sound which is just so pure. And so I will play the Kreisler with this bow, and also I actually play almost only on this one. And but every bow I'm owning is kind of the same weight. It's between 60 and 61 grams, and for me it's really. It's not easy to choose a bow, but it's completely instinctive. My violin maker, sometimes he calls me and says, I think there is something for you. So he knows me well. But I pick the bow already without playing. I know if it's the right weight. Somehow I feel it. Sometimes I can say, oh, this one is 62, and it's right. It's quite impressive. Just a feeling. And then I do 3 notes, and I say yes or no. It's absolutely clear. It's a kind of, it speaks through the arm. So it's not, I remember sometime I met a colleague of mine 10 years ago, and he said, how do you buy a bow? I said, what do you mean? Say, but how do you know that it's a bow for you? I said, well, I don't know. I try and I know. And he said, but how do you know? And it's strange. And I've met a couple of colleagues who have no idea how, they don't have this feeling of the arm. And for me, it's the key of the sound, because the sound is completely 100% from here, 98%, the rest a bit of vibrato, but it's really owned by the right arm. And it's choosing a bow is something absolutely incredible. Thank you.
Like choosing an instrument.
Yeah. I always say to my students, if you don't have enough money to buy a beautiful instrument, buy a better bow. It will make the instrument sounding better, which is true.
And we do ask musicians who are coming to bring their own bow, not just to add another layer to the performance, but those are the bows that were given with the Stradivari instruments in the gift of 1935, and we just keep them now for study purposes and not really for concert use. They're very fragile and very rare, and they're tourte and P4 as well. But is there any other questions? No? One more? Okay.
Do you have any comments about the Ravel and the Debussy sonatas compared to each other or were inspired?
Well, yeah, I love this program because it's how can I say, a journey in France somehow, and perhaps I'm the French violinist who played the least French music for a long time. I played so much better than Mozart, Schubert, Brahms. I studied in Berlin, and I was really, I loved French music, but I was almost only playing German music. And since 2 or 3 years, since I got 40, perhaps, I don't know why, but I thought I should play more French music, just because it's fantastic, and not because I'm not among these people who think that because we are French, we play better French music, because you are German, you play... this is absolutely wrong. But there is something in the voice, in the language, And I'm sure the fact that we speak French and we are born in France, we have a way to play French music which is somehow more natural. As I'm sure if you, American, will play American music, there is something that, which, you know, when you hear American violinists playing Bernstein serenade, it is natural, you know? And I believe that it's not that we play better or whoever play better, but there is a kind of taste which is interesting to know. And I love to play this program, Debussy with so many colors, and Ravel with also a different way of seeing. Then it's Manet, Monet, and it's like if you would go in a museum and see a retrospective of French paintings. So I think it's very interesting, and the Franck Sonata is so much telling about Proust and about all this time, and I think it will be a nice journey to France. I hope you will enjoy.
And you're going to come back in the spring and do the Sibelius with the National Symphony
Yeah,
Orchestra?
I will play with the National Symphony in May, and with Ed Garner, I think, and we'll play Sibelius. So I'm looking forward.
Well, I also hope you come back here and we do other
With
things
pleasure.
together with
With
these
pleasure.
instruments. They'll stay here. You just come back here and we'll...
I know, don't worry.
Yeah, okay. That was a long conversation today. Any more questions? There's one back there.
I don't know if I missed this, but since you're talking about the program, could you say a word about the Ravel and jazz and the blues movement? What it's like to play that?
Oh yeah, of course. I didn't. I'm not a musicologist, so I didn't describe every movement. But in the Ravel sonatas, there are 3 movements, and the second movement is a blues, and you'll see it's absolutely a delicious piece. I have to say about the Ravel sonatas that a fantastic composer, French composer, Yann Marèche, did for me 2 years ago orchestration. So I play this Ravel sonata with orchestra. He made a fantastic orchestration. You can find it on YouTube or something. Just listen to it, because it becomes another piece, and the last movement then becomes like the Ravel piano concerto. It becomes really something which, and it becomes a kind of a violin concerto. Well, the blues then is a lot of fun also with orchestra, because there are all these glissandi of winds and things. But clearly, when I play this blues, and I will have the same feeling tonight, I always imagine myself in a bar somewhere, and just at 2 o'clock in the morning, which I really never do, but just I imagine when I'm playing the Ravel.
Anybody else? Okay, great.
I think I
Thank
will
you.
warm up. Thank you
Yeah,
very
go
much.
warm up. Thank you.
Thanks to you.